Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Refine and Shine podcast. I'm super excited for my guest today. She is such a powerhouse. She is a woman that you all need to know. Her name is Blanca Angelica Rivera, known as Blangelika, the self-love queen. She is a healer.
She's
She is a mentor and a love embodied mentor, helping women and men remember who they truly are and how to and come home to love within themselves. After surviving multiple surgeries, a blood transfusion, deep emotional pain in 2018, she began a powerful healing journey that transformed her life, losing over 200 pounds, healing from anxiety and depression naturally, and discovering her purpose as a Reiki Master teacher. Once crowned Miss Puerto Rico Latin Plus, she later built Blangelika's Boutique, the House of Luxury and Love, a sanctuary for healing and self empowerment. And in 2025, after 17 years in corporate America, she walked away to live her mission full time, guiding others through transformation in life, relationships, and in business through self love, leadership, and embodiment. Today, she leads global programs like the Love Frequency Activation, House of Kings, and Cafe Latte Your Love. She's multi-passionate and authentic, and she believes love isn't just a feeling, it's a way of living, it's home. So thank you, Blangelica, for being here today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure having you here. I love it. Thank you for that beautiful introduction.
What I love is, and we were talking just a little bit before we started recording, is this is just a snapshot from 2018, 2017 to present, but you have so much history and so many things that you have been through in life to get you to the person that you are today. And so take us back to wherever you feel comfortable and taking us back to walk us through the journey of how you have become your biggest fan.
So it all started and we go back through its transition timeline. So basically, we started talking about 2017, 2018, because those were my rock bottom ones. But I remember back in 2011, if we go back, that time, I was having difficulties, not being able to have kids, had thyroid issues, PCOS, polycystic, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it led to a lot of overweight, which is the reason I lost so much weight later on in 2017. But doctors will always tell me, "Oh, you have to lose weight," but I couldn't, and they will never give me a plan. So, what's the action? What can I do? And it was all, being coming from Latina, they always feed you with rice and beans and all this food, of course. And my family maybe didn't have that education, and they did, but it was just how we ate. Period. And of course, and I remember you cannot get up from that seat until you eat all your food.
Mm-hmm.
However, that wasn't the cause. That was probably the cause maybe for overweight and then, but it was hormonal and it was thyroid and it was more of the health side. However, now with the education and all the self-development that I have done, I could have healed that with food and with proper movement and so that I could activate and have a balance in life. But that also led, the PCOS also led for me not to be able to have kids. So that was a big wake-up call in like around 2011. I remember that I had really big pains and I went on an emergency trip to the ER, and the doctor said, "Hey, well, your fallopian tubes are blocked." And he sent me to my gynecologist, and my gyn said, "Well, I could just go in there and just delete them out of your life." And I'm like, I want a second opinion. So I did. I went to a reproductive doctor and a specialist, and I was traveling at least once a month to go see him until that time of that surgery came in. And one of the things I asked, do you think, are you going to be able to fix them? He's like, "I'm going to go and try to fix them. If not, I have to take them out." So when I woke up from surgery, that was my first question to the nurse, and she said no. Were they able to be fixed? I remember till this day. Were they able to be fixed? And she said no. I broke down. I started crying. Then I was single because I had a husband, but it was early on. So I was still single. I was already divorced. I wasn't in a relationship, but that was not the case. But what if later on I met
Mhm.
the husband? What if I had that relationship? So all those thoughts and all that grief and all that pain was coming into my life because I also hold grief there from miscarriages. And so that surfaced again in 2021 when I was doing deep healing. I also had to heal from that twice. In 2011, when I found out, and then in 2018, when I had to have a hysterectomy. So those were two things in different timelines, but that I had to go back and really deep heal from it again, all completely. And now I could speak to you. There were times that I couldn't speak about kids. However, I did adopt a dog and she became my daughter, which her name is Reiki, and we talked about it outside of this and outside of my bio. But I adopted a dog because now I knew that the only way that I could have kids was with a surrogate mother. And I said, no, I'm just a adopted dog. So I am proud to be a dog mother. And it just brought me so much love and light. But that's part of something beforehand. But before that, if we go deep into like as young as 3 years old, I was molested. And I didn't know that. I had kind of like dreams about it, but I wasn't certain because I was very, very young. Now, when I started doing my healing and back again to like 2021, 2022, that came about and I surfaced. And I had to actually that face I healed it myself. I had to like feel the pain, allow myself to forgive, allow myself to let go. It wasn't my fault. Of course, I was just a little girl.
Mhm.
But what I'm trying to say is that there's so many things in life that you go through that at some point you have to feel the pain in order to heal and let go. That also brought um also childhood trauma that also came into my life. And that childhood trauma, I had child abandonment issues, anxiety, the depression, all that was triggered throughout my life. And that led for me to at 21 marry a gentleman that he was in a domestic violence abuser. And so basically what I was attracting was not the reality of what I wanted and desired in life. But all those traumas that I hold probably made me feel, now thinking about it and looking back so many years, made me feel that I was not worthy enough to receive better until I said, I'm done, and I left. It only took 5 years to get out of that relationship. And at 21, I was very successful. I was making $60,000 a year. That I built my first business at 21 years old. I bought my first house at 21 years old with $10,000 in my pocket. And then I had to just randomly leave the house because of the situation. And in 2007, I decided to move back to Florida and I started my life all over again. And I said, this is a new chapter. And then after that, years by years came back until 2011.
Oh, wow. What a journey you have been through. And I love that you said that in order to move forward, we have to heal and we have to go through and we have to feel the pain and learn the forgiveness and all of those things. Like, how did you find, and I always say it wrong, but is it Reiki or Reiki? Reiki,
Reiki
Reiki.
is energy healing. Yes, Reiki.
How did you find that and how did you learn to do that? Like, when did you become a certified master? Like, how did you like I've really heard about it just within the last few years. How did you find out about it and how did you use that to help you?
So, as a, I knew that I was a healer since a young age, but it was nothing that it wasn't common like in our family to talk about it. I knew that my grandmother, she had the hands of a healer because she will actually massage people and heal them. But it wasn't until 2007 that my mom came into my house just to stay for a weekend, and she had knee pains. And And I said, well, mom, just come here and let me massage you. And, the next day she wakes up and her knees are completely healed. Like she's doesn't have any pain. She's good to go. And she's like, oh my gosh, you have the hands of your grandmother. And I started crying. It basically, for me, it was coming out of the closet kind of deal. Um, and then that's when I actually told her, and that's when she realized that I had those amazing gifts. But however, I started reading about law of attraction as an early age, like in my 20s, and more of like helping paying it forward. I had that gift. I had that amazing love and passion to help people. So then when I started developing the skills of a healer, then I started reading more and reading more and reading more. So by the time I adopted Reiki. I was not a Reiki master then. I didn't have, and actually, as a matter of fact, I didn't have any idea that I was going to become a Reiki master. It was just my calling. It was my intuition talking to me, but I wasn't listening then. And then it wasn't until 2022 that I decided to become a Reiki master, but it was because I had to go through all these struggles and all these dark night of the soul and all these rock bottoms to realize that that was a higher calling for me to make it happen. My life changed when I became a Reiki master. If before I will overcome any issues, it took me longer to process. But as soon as I became a Reiki master, my life transformed at 360 completely. And that's why I am here today telling my story. Because if it wasn't for Reiki, I don't think I would be here because I was in such a deep pain and anxiety and depression that I didn't really want to be in this world.
Wow, wow, that's really amazing. And I just appreciate everything that you're sharing because you're being so
Thanks.
vulnerable and so open. And that's one of the reasons like you're raw and you were honest. And that's why I feel the love, like the love and the attraction towards you. And but one of the things I wanted to ask you is you talk about yourself and you describe yourself as love in human form. What does that mean to you? And can you describe how you've come to be that?
Now it's more selective. I share love every day. As soon as I wake up, there's always a message on social media. There's always something. I get up and either I share something once I'm done with my morning routine or whatever the case may be. I'm sharing a message. Empowerment has been part of my life. Even before I even came into coaching or mentoringship, even if now that I do this for a living, before it was just for free, sharing just on social media. And that's how hashtag I am my biggest fan came about, just empowering people to become the best version of themselves. However, um, I feel that that came from since I was born. Since I was born as a little girl, I always had a passion to help people. So love flowed through me, with me, around me, for me, and for you, and for all of us at all times throughout all my entire life. As a matter of fact, for years, I was actually bullied. For years, I had to go through bully in school. I had to go through bully in like even at work because I was so passionate to talk about love and to how to help people. And people didn't see that. They're like, why you gotta do that? Why you think like that? Oh, you're just too much, right? And so that made me for a period of time kind of like, let me just be quiet for a while and just slow the fuck down. But then it actually changed later on as I became myself and I said, I don't care. This is me and this is who I am and I'm gonna speak and voice my opinion. But love, it's everything to me because it made me the person I am. But now I understand because I was born to give love. Now I just give love to the right people, the ones that are aligned with me, because I also went through the people pleasing, the not setting the boundaries. And then, of course, they took advantage of me. And then I felt like the victim. So that's not me anymore. I stay away from people that are not fully aligned with me. I'm here to help everyone, but not everyone is ready to work with me.
I love how you said that. I mean, you have been through a lot, and this that even though the traumas, the bullying, everything that you've been through, you still are learning to, you've learned and you keep on continuously to give the love for the people who are ready to receive you. And what a shame and what a disservice it was probably for you when people said you were too much and all the things that you had to like feel like you had to diminish your light to help others feel better about themselves, when it's really just a reflection on them that they're not ready to deal with the amount of love. They may have some other things that they need to deal with, and that's really a hard thing to do. I know myself too. I have dimmed my light a few times, and it's like, wait, no, I'm not dimming my light anymore. And one of the things that you talk about is you're so into self-love. And so tell us a little bit, like you are, like you talked about your morning routine. Kind of just walk us through a day of what you do to make sure that you are loving yourself.
Oh my gosh, I have it changes. Let me tell everyone. And I don't want people to feel that everything I'm about to tell you that I do, you have to do it. I just want you to feel like, oh my gosh, take from everything I do and just start creating some habits and start little by little, but be kind to yourself because to tell you the truth, if you would have asked me this question like 5 years ago, I would have couldn't told you. I could have just told you, oh, I do self bath once a month. I go and do my manicure or pedicure. I do my hair. I have a hairstylist that comes to my house for years and years and years. To me, that was self love. No, my dear. Self love has brought me to the level that I am now because I had to surrender to love, to pour all that love within me for me so that it could surround me and then bring more happiness into my life. So not only that I wake up in appreciation, I am so appreciated for everything I have, for everything that it's coming. That's the first thing I do in the morning. There's journaling that comes. I heal myself every night. I use frequency with meditation and as an energy healer, I basically sleep with my hands on my chest and I just fall asleep like that because I tap into my energy field. But that I do at nighttime. In the morning, then journaling. And there's no right or wrong when you do this. It's just it makes sense to me to do it the way I do it. But journaling, meditation, holistic healing to me has been amazing. Movement. I have to either walk or go to the gym or do somatics or do movement. I dance, I sing. I go outside and just sit in complete silence. No one talks to me around that time. I also pay it forward. I sit there and I'll do a TikTok video, and then if anyone comes in on my live stream, fine. If not, I'm talking to anyone or people, regardless. So that's also part of self-love because the more I pour to myself so that I can give to others. And there's so much more to it. It's embodiment, embodiment, embodiment. But if you would have asked me, I started meditating, wow, maybe since 2017, but it wasn't until 2022 that I actually had it embodied because I felt when I hit my last rock bottom then that I was it was like a lifetime decision. Either that or I'll be dead. Basically like that. I said I have to meditate every day and I have to heal myself every day in order to have the balance in life. And I did. And that has never stopped. So if I tell you for a person that is starting right now, I think journaling should be all part of your life, meditation, and if you're drawn into like holistic healing, you start walking in nature, walking barefooted, just staying still, hugging a tree, because let me tell you, it helps so much. But yeah, that's to me, that's love. Not only that, but it's allowing me to just be present in my time and when I feel emotions, giving that space for me to love myself deeper, hugging myself when I'm in grief, when I'm forgiving, self-love bath because they're so powerful to allow yourself. It's body, mind, and soul all the way through. It's a holistic approach to happiness, and that's your love.
I love that. So many great tips. One of the things I wanted to ask you is that so you lost over 200 pounds and you gained peace. What was harder? Was it the physical or the emotional weight that was hardest to lose?
I think it was over everything. It was a lot of pain, a lot of anxiety, depression, and I wasn't that big of an eater. But then when I ate, I will stay like one day without eating. I will come home and eat a big plate and then go to sleep. So it wasn't that I was like overeating. Or maybe when I was like in like deep pains, I will eat ice cream and stuff. But 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 it that I think it was that and the alcohol and all combination of everything that led me to continue and the stress and anxiety. So it's all started piling up, piling up, piling up until I was 392 pounds. I every time I walked from here to the door, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't even walk a mile. So I decided that I'm done. 2017 was a turning point for me. I had bariatric surgery in 2017, and that's when I started. Now, from there to now, I did not keep my same eating habits. I have changed completely a different modality of eating, and I'm very cautious of what I eat. Now, if I'm going on vacation, I could eat whatever, but when I'm home, I don't drink sodas. I don't drink there's no sugar in this house. Now I use honey. So it's a lifestyle. So holistic approach to happiness is always having a balance. And I'm not telling you to just go and not eat anything. Yeah, there's gonna be days you wanna fry food, then do it. However, I don't do fast foods anymore unless I'm traveling and that's the only thing available.
Hmm. I love that. These are just so many simple things that we can do on the way that we
Yeah.
eat and the way and it all starts with just loving ourselves and loving who we are and knowing that whatever we're putting into our body, it's is it going to help us or hurt us too? Is something that's how I've been thinking about it as I've been battling my weight up and down. And I just had surgery not that long ago, and the weight just started to come on. And I was like, wait, what am I eating? Or am I eating enough? And I wasn't eating enough. So then my body was starving itself and holding on to things. And also that movement is so important. And I love how you do some type of movement every day and go outside in nature. I love to take walks. Sometimes I'll take the dogs with me, but then it's like, I don't have the headphones on or anything. I just walk and just enjoy the sunlight coming in. I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's
that's
important.
beautiful. And sunlight, it's a beautiful, it's good. It's vitamin D, so it's good to go outside and play. I call it go outside and play. It's beautiful. I always encourage people to go outside and play, and when they're there, of course, you're not gonna eat your grass or anything, but use all your senses, hear and feel, touch. And I go out there and it's like no one exists, only like the birds, the sounds. I'm aware of my surroundings. And ever since I started doing that, mind you, this has been because I've been practicing. It takes 21 days for you to go into a habit. And it also takes 21 days for you get off a habit. So it's just trying it on until I am there. And now the shoe fits. And I'm like, okay, I'm home.
I love that. I love that. You help all kinds of people, and what would you say to people, to somebody who feels that they're too broken to start healing?
No one is broken enough to start healing. It just takes the courage for you to say yes to yourself. Love yourself more. You could be 80 years old. You could be in a bed right now, and you tell me, "Hey, I want to heal," and you're about to pass to another life, and you could heal. And I learned that I don't want to come back to this life to redo it again. So I'm gonna heal from places, things, and people as long as I live in this world. And I'm gonna continue my purpose and fulfill everything I have to do in this lifetime for sure. But it's just loving yourself, allowing yourself to surrender to love. Love is everything. Love is everything. You could you could just have a visit to someone that is sick and just with love, they will feel a lot better. Just try it on and see and come back to me and tell me.
Well, I love how you said that, to say it's the words too that, I want to be healed. I want to, instead of having
Yeah.
like words matter too. And I think that words have they have energy within them. And if we have to say like I help people with time management, I help people with their systems and things like that. When people say I have to do this, it's a negative. When you get to say I get to wash the dishes, I get to, I have to wash the dishes, I get to wash the dishes, it's such a big difference. And I think that when we're healing, I want to heal, not, oh, I'm depressed, I'm
Oh
sick, I'm
yes.
that. It's like I have some pain, but I are, however we transition our words and that having that gratitude, you know, yes, I'm unable to walk right now, but I know that I have the ability to walk again. I know I can get up out of bed, or I know, whatever the words are, I think that that's important too.
It's very important because I will not be able to help anyone that is not ready to be helped. And this is so important for you, for me, and for anyone in this world that's trying to help someone. Be- The thing is, I'm not the healer. I am the healer of my life. However, I'm a facilitator. I'm a healing facilitator. Now, if the person genuinely wants to heal, then I could come in and facilitate that, guide them through. But in reality of life, the true and rawness is that that person, if that person desires to heal and to pour and surrender to love, to allow that healing to come through and go to the root and allow it to come out and feel the pain and release, it's up to them. If they don't want to, they're not going to cry. They're not going to do anything. Next thing you know, they're back into steering the same circle again and again and again. And then next thing you know, they get sick.
Hmm. Oh, so powerful. One of the things I wanted to ask you, you said you were in corporate for 17 years, corporate America. What gave you the courage to finally walk away?
God, I was just done. I'm like 17 years. I'm very appreciative for the company I worked for. I mean, I started there in my 20s. I started there from $11 an hour to six figures, and I had the lifestyle, but it was 7 days a week for 17 years. I didn't, and I wrote something. It's funny because today I wrote something this morning about it. Every holiday I worked, I didn't have days off. The only day off that I had was probably New Year's Day and Christmas, but I remember that I still had to call clients to make sure they were already ready and set for their ongoing orders. So there was no days off, only when I took vacation. And still, no one knew how to do like I do. I mean, I'm in sales. You have to sell in order to get paid. So it was just very stressful for so many years. And then I already had started my company 4 years. I had told my boss that I was gonna retire corporate by the age of 50. I am 47 today and I quit when I was 46. I did it in less time, but I hustle. I'm gonna tell you right now, I did. There was nights that I went to bed at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, making sure that my system, I created my websites, I created everything for Blangelika's boutique. Um, I did everything, and I would not recommend that to anyone because back then, at the beginning, this is like 5 to 4 years ago. At the beginning, I didn't know how to ask for help. Nowadays, it's like, no, now I collaborate with a lot of amazing people and then we just help each other. But I was very appreciated, but I remember that the rock bottom in 2018 was body, mind, and soul, body, mind, and soul. But this one in 2021, I was done. Like in 2021, I knew right then that I was no longer part of that corporation and that I had to find my purpose. My purpose was no longer with them. They were not feeling my purpose within, and I wanted to find who could I serve that genuinely fulfills my heart and I could share love with. And so I started working and building my company. And until the day of, I was feeling kind of like the same, like in the same struggle. Like my mind started wandering around, and I was waking up like around 3 or 4, and I said, this is not good. And I talked to my financial advisor, and she said, "You're not ready yet." And I'm like, I just can't take it anymore. And that Sunday, the day before I quit, that Sunday I rode my jet skis, and I remember it was 52 miles per hour that jet ski, and I scream on top of my lungs on the middle of the lake, and I said, yeah. But I'm gonna tell you something. I went to a canal, and then everything just went silence, complete silence. I was hearing the birds. I was hearing the water, but there was nothing else in the air, nothing but that. And I just heard this voice that told me, "You're ready." And I said, "Okay." I came home. I wrote my resignation letter. My hands were shaking when I got to the office. I will never make it at that office at 7:30 in the morning. I will always make it there by 9. And that day I was there at 7:30 in the morning. I was ready. And they did not expect it, but I moved on and I continued to work at Blangelika's boutique. And then of course I sold it, but that's another story.
Well, I just love that you had the courage to do that. And I can like I pictured you in this like canal with the birds and everything. Like I picture that because I kind of had something similar actually working for a company. I was there for 17 years and 9 months. And but before it was about 6 months, 17 years and 6 months when I made the decision. I had applied for another job and had gotten the tentative job offer, and I was like, I'm gonna go. And but I was kind of up and down. Am I gonna do this? I'm gonna have to fly, I'm gonna have to travel every week, all these other things. But I was driving in and the sun, it was early in the morning and the sun was, I was driving to work and the sun was coming up. So it was beautiful skies. I live in the desert, so the skies are beautiful. And it was just talking to God, like, give me a sign, give me a sign. And it was just like this whole like freezing coldness coming over me, like it was crazy. And it was like, you're ready. And I look up in the sky and it was just the beautiful everything that happened. And then there was a song that came on, and I don't remember the song. I took a picture of it, but it was basically, I'm going to take care of you. Whatever it is, you're going to be okay. And I'll
Yeah.
tell you, it has been a roller coaster of ups and downs since I made that decision. When I made that decision, I didn't say anything to anybody, but of course I told my family that I was going to take this job. And then, because, you have to, the background checks, all the things. So there's all these what ifs. And then in December is when I notified them because I got the official job offer and I left. And it was hard. It was such a hard thing for me to do. And it was the same thing. You're gonna leave a job for me, it was like it was a raise, but I was gonna be traveling. So then you're gonna lose money, but is it right? And I knew in my heart and in my soul it was what I needed. And it was the same thing. I wanted to grow to another level. I wanted to find my passion and my purpose and all of the things. And I think that sometimes people just have that whole, they stay in the comfortableness. And when we're comfortable, we're not growing. We're not pushing ourselves to the next level. We're not pushing to say, else could I do? And is it going to be easy? No, there's going to be hard times, but that's just life, right? We have our ups and downs all the time. But I think that if we focus on what God has intended us to do, or whatever is put on our hearts by the universe, whatever you believe, then that's what we need to be doing. What would you say to that?
Oh yeah, for sure. And think about this is how I vision my life, and this is what I tell most of my clients. I tell them just think about life as a game. You close that chapter, you're ready to move on to the next one. God will always have your back as long as you continue to move. You have to evolve. You have to do self-development, continue to grow. I mean, you really don't need a freaking PhD. All you have to do is do self-development. I have done so much and I invested so much money into my self-development. I mean, coaching programs, you imagine like good mentors, but if you don't have the financial freedom to do that, you really don't need it. There's so much more. There's so many people like us willing to help people like you because I know the struggle. I know how hard it is to be in a space where you don't feel comfortable, when you don't feel happy. You're there making someone else rich, while in reality, your birthright is to come and be your authentic self and do whatever your purpose is in life.
Mhm. I love that. I love that. And so let's talk a little bit about what is the service that you provide now? I mean, you have so many great programs. What do you provide? How do you help people?
Sure. Well, I mean, I have a lot to share, which is amazing. I love that because that way I could provide a lot of information. But yeah, I do let's start with my freebies. Currently, it's currently running right at this moment. It's a 4-day activation that is going to be a paid program, but currently it's running for free. Anyone is for 4-day, the love frequency, where I am going to have 4 days intensive with energetics. We're doing movement. We're doing a lot of things. We're going deep into your desires and create more space and capacity for you to hold more wealth and more abundance in life, in love, and in your business. So I do embodiment of love so you can have the capacity to receive more. And of course, I heal as an energetic healer and very intuitive. I go in into each and anyone's body, and then I guide them to heal too. So that's one of the things that is really hot right now, and everybody's joining. I also host Cafe Latte Your Love, which is a coffee chat for women entrepreneurs ready to come on camera and share stories and connect with other amazing women. At times, I bring people in, I ask them if they're needing help, and I bring them into the hot seat where I come here and I mentor them to just, to continue. I am a human design 3/6, which means I'm a role model, a connector. So I live through life experiences. I do not teach anything unless I already tried it on and it fits. So I bring all that wisdom and all that knowledge, and of course, you already know how much I have learned in my life.
Yeah.
I bring it into my containers. But then I have that, and then I have the Kings, the House of Kings, which is for the male. We're not forgetting about the man. I love working with men. For years I found myself more with male friends than girlfriends because girls were bitches, and I don't allow that in my life. It's the truth. Now I have more girlfriends than guy friends. But back then, they just think I'm very raw, I'm very honest, and I don't care what people think or whatever they be. So a lot of girls didn't like me then. I really can care less right now. But so I throughout my years, I learned what men are needing or wanting or desiring to heal so that they could be the provider, the king, and the rock of the foundation of a home to either attract home or to have that foundation in their household. So I host that and actually it will be our first November 14th. Anyone is welcome. It's $22, but you could use House of King promo code and get 50% off since it's the first time that I'm hosting that one. I used to host them in the store, but this is now me. Um, and then with the new branding and all that, because the store was sold in August. And now I'm 100% virtually. So then after that, I have the Self-Love Queens, where we work more of embodiment and coaching and mentorship there, which is $44 a month. And you can cancel anytime. It's very cool space where you have your private community and you come on board once a month with me. And you have the community to always ask questions, and I'm always there. That's a membership, and I love that because we go deeper. Now, if you want to work faster, because sometimes, a membership will not go deeper as fast, but if you want to go faster in your journey, you want a quantum leap and you want to take action right away, then I have containers. I have 3 tiers of containers. Currently, I have a 4 month, which is running for 1,111. That's a full month with me, 4 weeks, and then I have 6 weeks for 555, and then I have I think it's 8 weeks for 888. I also do VIP days, and I love VIPs because either I travel to you and I will create a package, or you could travel to me and also I'll create a package. But let's say, for instance, you want to meet me in Puerto Rico, a VIP day will be $4,444, and we go on a full day of integration. I mean, we go transformation, business audits. We do it all in one day, but we also have fun. So it's very nice to go in there. Those are beautiful. I love them. And upcoming retreats. I have not set a date for my first one. I've been to retreats. I have done events and retreats, but this one has a different meaning. Before it was more business related. This is more transformational.
I love that. I love that you have so many different containers because it helps people to meet them where they're at. And then they have another level. I
Yes,
heart
yes, yes, for sure. And then, of course, if anyone, let's say, for instance, they're not ready to go into like my high, I do have low ticket sales that I don't really, I have them available, but only for anyone that it's ready for them. They just ask. But I have Reiki 1, Reiki 2, Reiki 3 available. If whatever they want, those are $222. If you want to learn how to self heal, then if you could go to the Reiki 2, that's distance healing, or you could become a Reiki master like me teacher, and then I teach you how to teach. Now, those come with mentorship for a full month with me. And I also host, like, I have right now I do, like I have 30 minutes, $111 if you need an energy reset and more in love, in a little small container. I have things for anyone, at any level. It's a matter of fact that they're ready to work with me basically, but we could do whatever they want except this is what I currently have.
I love that. And I think that what's so important, and for the listeners, if you're listening, like we have to, I think that we have to invest in ourselves. It's so important to invest in ourselves in order to do the healing. I've worked with others, coaches, mentors, and when I've started to do the healing work and healing all the past traumas, and healing comes in layers. So you may heal and then there's another thing that comes up. So as you work through these things, wow, what you can curate once you get rid of all the things that are holding you down. And when you're holding yourself down, you're doing a disservice for yourself. So definitely connect with Blangelika because she has so many amazing things out there that she can offer to you. Um, so I highly recommend it. But one of the things I'd always love to ask my listeners, I mean my guests, I'm sorry, is what is a word, a phrase, a book, or some type of action, anything that my listeners can do today in order for them to start refining and shining today?
I always tell people to become always your highest self by becoming your biggest fan. Never give up. But one of the things I always tell people, you're not meant to be here to fit in. You were born to wake in love, and every room that you walk in, you own it. It's yours. This is your life. You're capable of bringing all your desires and all your dreams exist. You just have to move forward, release, move forward, release, move forward. You give and you receive. You give and you receive.
I love that. I love that. And as you were saying that, I can think about all the times that once I released things, how much more things came to an abundance once I learned to let go of the things that were holding me back or no longer serving me. I think that's important, setting up those boundaries and all the other things. So thank you so much. I can't wait for my listeners to connect with you and just thank you for all the things that you provided for us today and for my listeners. Thank you.
My pleasure.